If you've been selling on eBay consistently in volume long enough, you might have found out how vague and arbitrary eBay's policies and their enforcement can be. I learned this the hard way trying to sell vintage Playboys. In this video, I'm going to provide a list of which Playboy issues by month and year are going to receive policy violation strikes on your eBay account. We're going to talk about how absurd eBay's policies, communication about these policies, and their behavior around it has been. And it just shows how Ryan Cohen and GameStop has such an incredible opportunity to come in and improve eBay and add value by improving their relations with eBay's primary customers, which is sellers, which Ryan Cohen has specifically said he acknowledges sellers as eBay's primary customer. I'm Ron with 401 Trading. We deal in militaria, antiques, collectibles, but we resell just about anything that has value. We try to find good things that people want and get them to them at a good price. So this is being recorded on a potato. Sorry about the video quality. That will improve, so just bear with me. I wanted to get this out in a timely manner. And let's just start with the list that I promised. So this list I compiled from reading the eBay seller forums. And the link to this file is in the description. You can download this, sort it, search it, whatever you want. But this list is not exhaustive, right? I've put this together from things that other sellers have self-reported. So that doesn't mean just because your issue that you want to list is not on this list that it won't get a strike. And it doesn't mean that eBay can't add to this list and never tell anyone until somebody gets a strike on another issue. So if there's anything on this list that you've been struck on, you can put it in the comments. You can send an email. My email is in the description as well. And we can grow this list, and hopefully this will be a resource for people, because eBay doesn't publish their list. They won't tell you the list if you call them, but they clearly have a list. They have a list that AI uses to filter through listings and flag them. They have a list that a customer service representative reviews to confirm that the listing violated the policy. But they won't disclose it for whatever reason. And it makes no sense because sellers just want to follow the rules. Everything that I've seen, and from my personal experience, we feel left in the dark, and we just want to know the rules so we know what to expect and we can play without having to make mistakes or learn from the mistakes of others. Now, the policy itself is totally reasonable. The policy that they will strike these issues on is about protecting minors. They don't want anything that depicts a minor to be sold on the website. That's totally reasonable. Whether their application of this principle is reasonable is a totally different discussion, and all philosophical and moral discussion aside, I just couldn't care. I could not care less about that. I just want to play by the rules. I think everybody does, right? So, if eBay wants to ban an issue because a model was 17 when she submitted her trial photos to try to become a centerfold or a model or what have you, and eBay wants to ban every photo of that model in every eBay issue ever, fine. That's up to eBay. I just want to know which ones so that I can play by the rules. Some of these, who knows why? Maybe it was just an advertisement that had a child in it. Whatever eBay construes as a minor being depicted in an adult magazine is up to them, but they don't disclose it. It's not published in the policies. You just have to learn from your mistakes or from the mistakes of others. One of the places people learn from the mistakes of others is eBay forums. And eBay stifles discussions of these topics on their forums. This is the largest thread, has 40 replies. It started April 14th, 2025. People started putting together a list saying, hey, I got struck on this, blah, 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 blah. And You know, communication was infrequent but consistent, maybe a post a month. And on the same day that a seller adds more content to the discussion, a mod comes along and closes the thread because it's too old. You gotta wrap it up, guys. You've been talking too long. Doesn't matter how productive it is, doesn't matter what the topic is, just too old, gotta close it. This mod who's never sold anything on the platform. What does this mod even do? Well, you can see this mod just goes through and closes things because they're too old. It wasn't even a mod at the time that these posts were made, that this topic was made, and he just has months of closing threads due to age. How does this add value? How does this make sellers more confident in their platform? eBay, it almost seems like they're at war with sellers. The way that they've communicated this, or not communicated it at all, and they stifle discussion on it, just creates anxiety because you never know. Even if you have the list, you don't know if something gets added to the list until you get a strike. It's just incomprehensible why eBay would do this. But it gets even more absurd. So even if you've sold something on eBay, you can get a strike on it. These listings sold in February. I received the latest strike yesterday. Almost 3 months later, I received a strike on a listing, which is fine. I understand maybe where eBay is coming from. I don't necessarily agree with it. What I definitely don't agree with is that these listings sold before I had ever received a strike on the account. Like I said, these are the two most recent strikes. The first strike I got occurred after both of these had sold. But because I then had the first strike, these additional strikes incur me progressively more punishment because I had a first strike. Even though it's impossible for me to do anything about something that had been sold months ago. It's absurd is the only way I can really describe it. And it's almost like eBay is fighting its sellers, and that's why I'm excited about Ryan Cohen and GameStop coming in and just putting the focus back onto sellers, communicating clearly. This is so absurd. It can only be a result of just a bureaucracy of middle management, people not taking accountability, people not standing up and saying, "Hey, this doesn't make sense." People not listening to sellers because they're so far separated from sellers. A seller is lucky to be able to speak to somebody in a call center in the Philippines, and they're not going to communicate things to middle management in the US. If a seller gets through to someone in middle management in the US, okay, well, that guy is just in middle management. He doesn't get anything by taking a stand. I think it would be really easy to come in and reform that if you're Ryan Cohen, if you got the experience in doing that kind of thing. So, anyways, guys, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you've had strikes on your account for policy violations, put it in the comments or send a message. Let's grow this list. Let me know if you like this content, if this was helpful, educational. I'd love to do more stuff like this rather than just the I'd buy that for $1 and here's what sold. This idea just struck me last night because, at 11 o'clock at night, I get an email that increases my heart rate. Fortunately, this is on a separate, well, I have two accounts. So my adult products I sell on a separate brand, not 401 trading, because if somebody comes to 401 trading, they probably don't want to see antiques, very valuable things, rare books next to adult magazines. So hopefully eBay is reasonable enough that if another strike is made, I don't lose both accounts. But it is nerve-wracking, and you have to ask yourself, do I just totally give up on selling Playboys? Do I find another way to liquidate them? So share your comments, share your thoughts in the comments below, like the video, If you want to see more stuff like this, I hope to be doing more content like this. So hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.